Hi, it's Larry the Llama here. How you doing? Hard to believe it was 40 years ago the Vietnam War ended. For some Vietnamese, the war didn't finish in '75, though. Like the families of the 5 million people exposed to the 19 million tons of chemical weapons we dropped, like Agent Orange. Their kids are still being born with horrific deformities. The US should be ashamed of what we did in that war. We killed nearly 3 million Vietnamese. As a senior US officer at the time famously said, the only way to save the village was to destroy it. So why did the Vietnam War happen? Because Washington was terrified that after China, the whole of the Far East was going to turn communist. The famous so-called domino theory. It never happened that way. My friend Puyu the Panda tells me one-time Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping hated the Vietnamese as much as the Pentagon did. The defeat in Vietnam is the only military defeat in US history. A poor peasant country sent the richest, most heavily armed nation the world had ever seen, scrambling to get away in a chopper off of a roof next to the US Embassy in Saigon. And for why? Because the Vietnamese people were never going to give up their country. And the American people, including thousands who served in the military, had had enough of an unjust and unjustifiable war. You know, in one way the domino theory made sense. After all, it was Che Guevara himself who called for 1, 2, 3 many Vietnams. And freedom fighters the world over, from South Africa to Central America, they'd follow the news from Southeast Asia for their inspiration. Truth is, we had no business in Vietnam. Just like the other countries we've invaded since, from Grenada in '83 to Iraq for the 3rd time in 2012. Time to stop our so-called leaders trying to run the world for US corporate interests. No more US invasions. Now that'd be a way to celebrate the 40th anniversary.